Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all. Thank you for joining us from across the time zones for an intensive week of news, views, and science in dog and cat population management. I am Dr. Elly Hiby, Director of ICAM, and today I will be your chair to guide you through a wonderful opening set of presentations. I am the representative of ICAM for today, but you will be meeting many of my ICAM colleagues throughout the week. As a coalition, our strength and indeed our enjoyment comes from working together, striving to learn, challenge and support each other to do the best we can for dogs and cats. This conference is the fourth in a series of international conferences. So the first was in York, England in 2012, then Istanbul, Turkey in 2015, and Mombasa, Kenya in 2019. Previously, these have been in-person conferences, and as wonderful as in-person can be, especially after years of COVID restrictions, we decided this fourth conference should be virtual to expand our reach and to welcome people that would not otherwise have been able to attend. So thank you for embracing yet another online experience. We appreciate that you are likely to be very well versed in the virtual world, and we hope not too fed up of it. I did want to thank all of those that submitted abstracts to speak at this conference. We had a very large number of high quality submissions, but only had a space for a few of those. So I did also want to thank our scientific committee for reviewing all these submissions and helping us to make the tough decision on which to accept. Before we continue, I must flag some housekeeping. So towards the bottom of your Zoom window, you will see two icons. We have the chat function, which is open and available for you to use to keep in touch with your fellow attendees. Some of our presentations are recorded and pre-recorded, and some will be presented live. But even if pre-recorded, the presenters are here today and they're waiting in the wings to answer your questions, so don't be shy. You have the Q&A function, which you can use to post questions to those presenters, and you can review the questions posted by other people and upvote them for greater visibility if you are also really keen to hear the answer. And these questions will then either be answered by the presenters typing into the Q&A function, or during their live Q&A session after their presentation has finished. Please note that both today and tomorrow our agenda is particularly packed, so we won't have time for long live Q&A sessions. So do take note of this written alternative. You will all be aware of our conference webpage. Please know that all the videos of the presentations will be uploaded here, so you can watch again and share with others that are not here today. Please share the news of the conference and links to this webpage on social media so other people can catch up with what you see here this week. We have the handle #UnitedForDogs that we used at our first 2019 conference, and also a new hashtag that brings cats into the conversation. Links to our website and our social media are going up into the chat now. Please note that our second presentation today by Helen Fielding should not be shared on social media, as it's a study and analysis that is currently in progress. So many of you will already know ICAM well, so I'm going to keep this introduction short. We were formed in 2006 as a discussion group between peers in different charities to both support each other and stay informed of each other's work. We are now comprised of 9 members, who include some of the largest funders and implementers of dog and cat population management across the world. Now, our mission is to support the development and use of humane and effective companion animal population management worldwide, but we can't achieve that just by talking to each other. And so we've also expanded into education of the wider population management field. So in 2019, we published this guide on humane dog population management, an update of a previous guide that was published in 2007. It walks you through a process of understanding the problems caused and experienced by dogs, their population dynamics, and the potential solutions to managing their populations through a system of services supported by foundations that provide the sustainability, political will, and community engagement you need to be effective. But it's a weighty and dense book of information. So today we are formally launching 2 online courses on dog population management, making this guidance and its key concepts more digestible. So you can sign up for our courses for free on this website, icam.talent.com, and there's a link for more information going into the chat now. You will see there are 2 courses offering 2 pathways for learners with different roles and responsibilities. So that orange path is the Implementers course. It's more in depth and 6 modules in length, covering how to assess dog population dynamics, make design decisions about your management system and the services that it will run, and then monitoring your impact on the dogs and the communities they live amongst. The green path is the policymakers course. It doesn't go into as much depth on how to run a management system, and it's only 3 modules in length, sharing 2 of those with the Implementers course. But it explores more about the wider policy system that can enable population management systems to succeed and thrive, including legislation and funding and training. You'll hear some examples of these enabling actions on Wednesday. This course also emphasizes the important role of human behavior in DPM systems and explains the basics of behavior change science as an approach to effective DPM policy making. These courses have 2 important developments planned for later this year: translation into 6 further languages in a first phase, with a wider set of languages planned for a later phase. Please note that our 2019 guide is already available in these 8 languages on our website. We also have the ambition of World Organization for Animal Health labelling. So just over a year ago, WOA adopted an update to Chapter 7.7 of their terrestrial code on dog population management. And there's clear alignment between this chapter and ICAM's more in-depth guide to DPM. So WOA is piloting a process for labelling existing education materials, a process that is currently under development. And we are one of the first to submit courses and are working with WOA now on further harmonisation. Our hope is that WOA labelling will open up our courses to the wider audience of the national and local veterinary authorities, who have a key role in dog and cat population management in every country, and are often handed this responsibility with minimal training and preparation. We hope our courses will help address this. These 2 courses join a suite of other resources, including our course on humane community development, our Talea app and web tool for conducting street surveys, and our practical guidance on monitoring and evaluation. All these and others are available on our website. So just thinking back to our mission and the use of humane and effective population management worldwide, knowing how to conduct effective management is only half the story. We also need to argue the why, so that it is given the political support, funding, and attention it deserves. Population management is a permanent community need, like education and healthcare. Wherever we have dog and cat populations, and that is pretty much everywhere in the world, we need a sustainable and locally relevant system in place that manages their populations. This system will have all the benefits that we are used to talking about, like minimizing disease and improving animal welfare. But there are other benefits that are relevant to stakeholders that are not usually within our sphere. For example, urban development stakeholders that are focused on SDG 11, the goal of inclusive, safe and sustainable cities, a goal that can't be reached without effective and humane management of urban dog populations. And so as a coalition, we are also building our advocacy work and looking at how to support the advocacy of others. Our ICAM chair, Pankaj KC, will be talking about this more on Wednesday, including about this report on the contribution of dog population management to the SDGs, where we are starting to build a case for the potential benefits of DPM to communities in ways people might not have previously appreciated. So that concludes my updates from ICAM and leaves me just to thank you again for joining us today. If you have any questions for me, please do pop them into the Q&A. I'll be available to answer them throughout today's session. And so now I want to get us started on our first day of the conference. Our theme for today is the evolution of population management. We know that population management requires a comprehensive and adaptive approach, innovating, testing, evaluating, using data-driven approaches, and then using all this to drive forwards adaptations to improve our impact for animals and communities, a subject that is close to my heart and close to ICAM's heart, and the motivation that led to the publication of our 2015 Are We Making a Difference? Guide to Monitoring and Evaluation. And it's clearly a subject close to the heart of our speakers. So today we're going to hear from firstly John Boone and Tyler Flockhart. We'll be hearing how species distribution models widely used in wildlife conservation could serve our field. From Helen Fielding, we'll be hearing about what I believe is the first randomized control trial looking at the impact of dog population management using both treatment and controls. From Dr. Obb, we'll be hearing about the implementation of Soy Dog Foundation's large CMVR project in Greater Bangkok, one of the world's largest metropolitan cities. From Andrew Yoke, we'll be hearing about a computer model available to you online that you can use to help plan and predict the impact of dog interventions, supporting you to make intervention decisions. From Conrad Fruehling, we'll hear about using freely available detailed spatial information to help refine dog population estimates and plan vaccination campaigns, as well as an example of the use of oral rabies vaccine in Namibia. So there we're starting to move into more deeply into the subject of One Health, which we will continue with tomorrow. And then finally from Terence Scott, we'll hear about the suite of tools GARC have been developing and are available on their website.